Welcome to the Change-Making series by Tinker Champs, who are on a mission to educate their fellow ATL students on a variety of topics of mutual interest. As part of this mission, Tinker Champs are bringing out several micro-learning modules on tinkering, problem-solving, innovation, entrepreneurship and change-making and other topics. In this 10-part video series, Tinker Champs will help you understand the essentials of change-making, and how you can be a change-maker too. Each video is approximately 5 to 10 minutes and includes a change-making activity for you to attempt.
Without further ado, let's start with today's episode on Ethics in Change-Making by Tinker Champ Nitish Garg, a Class 9th student from Delhi and a change-maker himself.
So, you want to make a real, lasting impact on the world? Well, if you're serious about it, there's one topic you absolutely cannot skip over: ethics. It's kind of like the invisible engine that drives truly meaningful change. Today, we're going to dive deep into this, and we've got an amazing guide with us, the award-winning young entrepreneur and Tinker Champ, Nitish Garg. His insights are really going to be the backbone of our whole journey today.
And this quote from Nitish, it's the perfect place to start, because it just cuts right to the heart of the matter. You know, it's not enough to just build something new or be clever. If what you're doing isn't built on a foundation of trust, your impact is going to be pretty limited. Or, as Nitish warns, you could even end up doing some unintentional harm. As we're going to see, trust really is the currency of change-making.
All right, so let's officially kick things off with the big question. Why should ethics even matter for your project? Well, think of it like the foundation of a huge skyscraper. It's that invisible architecture holding everything up. Without a really strong ethical foundation, even the most brilliant ideas can they can crumble under pressure. To really make this hit home, let's look at this little story of two fundraisers. Over on the left, you've got Sam. He kind of exaggerates the need for his project just to get more donations. And hey, it might work once, right? A quick burst of cash. But then, on the right, you have Priya. She's totally honest about everything, gives transparent updates, and shows the real impact. Now, who would you support in the long run? It's Priya, right? Of course, because she's building trust. And that feeling of confidence you have in her, that's the power of ethics, right there in action. So, what even is ethics when we get down to it? Well, it's basically your moral framework. It's that internal compass that guides your choices. It's the silent partner in every single decision you make, from how you design your app to how you talk to your community. Nitish Garg talks about this a lot, not as a bunch of stiff rules, but more like a muscle that you have to actively build and strengthen over time. So to help us all build that muscle, here's our game plan. We've just talked about why ethics matters. Next up, we're going to get into a framework for thinking, explore some core principles and common traps, learn from real-world examples, and then give you an ethical toolkit you can actually use. We'll wrap it all up with a powerful call to action, inspired by Nitish Garg's own journey. Okay, on to our second section. You might think ethics is just, a gut feeling, but it's actually a skill. Mentors like Nitish Garg always say that it's a structured way of thinking that anyone can get better at. It's all about learning how to turn that kind of vague feeling of right or wrong into a clear, repeatable, and actionable process.
And here's a super practical 5-step process for exactly that kind of thinking. First, you identify the stakeholders. That means everyone who could be affected. Second, you spot the specific ethical questions at play. Third, imagine all the possible consequences. Fourth, check your decision against your own core values. And fifth, and this one's a big one, seek advice. Let's zoom in on a couple of these.
Step 1, identifying stakeholders is so critical. It's really easy to just focus on your main users, but the ripple effects of your project can be way, way wider. You gotta think about your teammates, your classmates, your teachers, even your parents. And as Nitish Garg points out, sometimes the environment itself is a key stakeholder you can't forget about.
Now, step 3 is all about consequences. This is where you have to think like a chess player, always a few moves ahead. What are the immediate effects of your decision? Sure, but what about the long-term ones, like a year from now, or even 5 years from now? Could a poorly worded post cause someone deep embarrassment? Could a small flaw in your product lead to actual real danger? Thinking this stuff through helps you prevent that kind of devastating unintended harm.
Okay, here's the question for you to chew on. Can you remember a time when you had to choose between telling the absolute truth and, protecting someone's feelings? We've all been there. There's no single right answer, of course. The important part is the process. What factors did you weigh? What values did you prioritize? That act of just thinking it through, that is ethical thinking.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. In this next section, we're going to look at the common ethical challenges that young innovators run into all the time, and the core principles that can act as your compass when you're in a tricky situation.
Do any of these look familiar? Funding fudges? Maybe stretching the truth just a little to get that grant. Plagiarism and who gets credit? And of course, the huge ones in our digital world, data privacy and getting consent. These aren't just abstract ideas, folks. They are real, high-stakes challenges that innovators like you face every single day.
How about a quick mini challenge? Pick one of those from the list. Let's take fairness versus favors. The unethical solution is obvious, right? Giving your best friend the huge role on the team even though you know they're not the best person for it. The ethical solution? Setting up clear, objective criteria beforehand and choosing the best person, period. Seeing both paths really makes the right choice pop.
So, when you're facing one of those tough spots and the path forward is looking a little murky, what do? This is when you fall back on your core ethical principles. Nitish Garg calls these your non-negotiables. They're like your North Star, giving you direction when you feel lost. And here they are, 6 core principles that are really the bedrock of ethical change-making: honesty, fairness, transparency, accountability, safety, and responsibility. If you ground your project in these values, you will almost always stay on the right track. Let's look at a couple of examples.
Let's start with honesty. And this is more than just not lying. It's about being proactively truthful, especially when it's hard. So imagine your fundraiser doesn't hit its goal. The temptation is to just quietly sweep it under the rug. But the honest thing to do? Own it. Tell your donors. This single action, as Nitish Garg has found in his own work, builds so much more long-term trust than pretending everything's perfect all the time.
Now let's talk about safety. And I don't just mean physical safety. I mean emotional and digital safety too. Getting someone's explicit consent before you post their picture online isn't just a nice thing to do, it is an ethical requirement. It's a fundamental act of respect. So, the key takeaway here is simple. Always ask first.
Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually plays out in the real world. In this section, we're going to look at a few case studies, from student projects to massive global initiatives, to really understand the tangible impact of ethical choices, both the good and the not so good.
First up, we have an awesome example of ethical change-making in action. During an emergency, a group of students realized that elderly folks in their neighborhood were having a really hard time getting groceries, so they created the Invisible Hands Project to connect volunteers with people who needed help.
The thing that made Invisible Hands so successful was that it was built on a strong ethical foundation from day one. They got clear consent with a simple sign-up process. They prioritized safety by background checking their volunteers, and they showed fairness by making sure the service was available to everyone who needed it. They didn't just solve a problem, they did it the right way. Now let's look at a different kind of case study. A huge, super ambitious project to clean up the ocean that raised millions of dollars and got tons of attention. And while the idea was definitely noble, the way they went about it raised some really serious ethical questions.
Wow, the contrast here is pretty stark, right? We see a lack of honesty with these bold, unproven claims, a failure of responsibility by ignoring warnings about harming marine life, and a real lack of accountability when their early prototypes failed. This brings up a huge question for all of us. What happens when a project's marketing is way better than its actual technology? It's a powerful reminder that having a good cause doesn't give you a free pass on ethics.
And look, it's not just these 2 examples. This stuff pops up everywhere, in projects big and small. So let's run through a few more quick lessons from student projects all the way up to the biggest companies in the world.
A smart dustbin project teaches us don't hide your product's flaws just to win an award. An AI attendance tool shows us that data privacy has to be built in from the start, not added on later. And even giants like Tesla and Google have lessons for us. Innovation can't come at the cost of worker safety, and new tech must be tested to make sure it's fair for everyone and not biased. These are universal principles that, as Nitish Garg would say, apply at every single scale.
Okay, another challenge for you, and this one needs some real honesty. Think about your last project. Who really truly benefited from it? And, just as important, who might have been left out or even accidentally harmed? Asking these tough questions is how we grow, and it's a habit that mentors like Nitish Garg encourage in every young changemaker. So, we've covered the why, the how, and the what not to do.
Now let's get super practical. This section is all about giving you some actual tools you can start using on your projects, like today.
Let's start with the Ethics Compass. It's a simple but really powerful way to think. It's just a memorable checklist for your brain. Are you leading with empathy for your users? Designing for inclusivity? Being transparent and holding yourself accountable? And is your solution actually sustainable? It's a quick gut check to make sure you're looking at all the angles. Okay, let's try it out. Imagine a big bottled water company offers to sponsor your clean water project. The money sounds great, right? But let's use the compass. Transparency. Can you honestly tell everyone about this sponsor without hurting your project's reputation? Empathy. How would the community you're trying to help feel about this partnership? Accountability. Who are you really accountable to here? The compass helps you see all the tricky ethical stuff beyond just the money.
And for an even more direct tool, here's a simple checklist. Before you launch anything, ask yourself these 5 questions. Is the need real? Are we being totally honest about everything? Is everyone represented? Could this possibly harm anyone? This simple check can save you from some major headaches down the road.
And here's a final, crucial point. As your project gets bigger, so do the ethical challenges. Scaling up isn't just a tech problem. An app that's perfectly fine for 100 people at your school might become a huge data privacy risk for 10,000 users across the country. As Nitish Garg always stresses, with greater reach comes way greater responsibility.
Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. For a final section, we're shifting gears from learning to doing. This is a direct challenge inspired by the work of Nitish Garg, for you to take all these ideas and actually apply them to become a better, more thoughtful changemaker.
And we come back to the wisdom of Nitish Garg. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Innovation and responsibility aren't two different things. They're two sides of the same coin. One is incomplete without the other. Real, lasting success happens right at that sweet spot where your solutions are ethical, inclusive, and effective.
And Nitish's own journey is proof of this. His award-winning work has impacted thousands of people, and it shows that being ethical isn't a barrier to success, it's a catalyst for it. In fact, you could argue his success is a direct result of his deeply ethical approach from the very beginning. So let's boil all this down into a simple pledge. 4 key promises you can make to yourself and your community. 1, always lead with empathy. 2, design for everyone, not just the easy-to-reach few. 3, stay accountable for your actions. And 4, always think about the long-term impact. And here it is, your final challenge, straight from mentors like Nitish Garg. Don't just watch this, use it. Find a real problem in your community. Use this ethical lens to design a thoughtful solution. Then go test it, learn from it, make it better. And if it works, scale it with that same deep sense of responsibility. This is how you go from being just an inventor to becoming a true changemaker. We'll leave you with this one final thought. You've got the passion, you've got the creativity to come up with world-changing ideas. The real question is this: what choices are you going to make day in and day out to make sure that change is really, truly for the better, for everyone? Thanks so much for joining us.